Hello, everybody. It's Ron again over here at Becoming Enlightened Together. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. We're going to go ahead and do our weekly rune reading for today, day by day, to see what kind of energy we have. Now, I've already pulled the runes out and their respective days and got an overall feel for the energy. And unfortunately, what it looks like is we're going to be focusing primarily energetically upon, again, the karmics this week. And because of everything that we have heard and seen for the several months that we've been doing this now, and the things that seem to be pointing to something very detrimental in the lives of those who have chosen this as their adversaries, unbeknownst to us in many cases, myself included. I've done nothing to provoke it. You've done nothing to solicit this, but people, for whatever reason, have chosen you, and there's many explanations. I'm just not going to share them right now. You'll have to determine that for yourself. This is part of using your own intuition. But the overall energy for the week is the only one that's in the upright, and it is JERA. Now, JERA talks about seasons and cycles, talks about harvests, a time of peace and happiness, the fruits of all your earlier efforts being made manifest. So, again, since we're talking primarily to the cross watchers, the karmics in our lives who are out there, the energy that we're seeing for this week, it's reflective of that is, I will just say it's relatively low vibrational. And that's about the kindest way I can put it. Now, today's energy, Sunday, is Malthus. Malthus is in the reverse, as are all the other 6 runes for this week. Now this in the reverse talks about going in a wrong direction. Somebody who's very possessive, uh, an inappropriate constraint of someone's freedom, perhaps theirs, perhaps yours, or somebody else in their sphere of influence. Okay, they want to basically be in control of your every movement, your every thought, and so on and so forth. This is also basically an energy of toil and drudgery, um, energy of want, of need, of deprivation, of starvation, even emotional hunger, poverty. So again, that's the kind of energy we're looking at this week. And I apologize. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it seems that's what we all have our niche. Some, like I said before in previous readings, they talk solely about love. Others talk solely about careers, and others are more well-rounded. But I seem to be, for whatever reason, picking up mostly from those who are on a lower vibrational plane, and that's the energy that I'm picking up, or at least for the collective, those who are in your particular sphere of influence or vibrating at a lower rate. And perhaps because I do have a mandate, in a sense, to guard, to protect, to serve. And as a result of that, I have to be able to sound the alarm as well as ward off evil. And I can do that through the power of, for example, in terms of runes, Algus, and the power of that with Willow, and many other runes that, are basically centered around that type of energetic, motion or representation. And that's the energy I embody. So, whether serving in the Marine Corps for X number of years, wanting to serve and protect and all of that, to well, I changed my mind, but I was going to be in the law enforcement world too, until I had a change of heart of certain things and a better understanding and education of certain things. But I was a patrol officer in an armed security outfit for a couple of years, and I had 20, 30 officers underneath me, and we racked up a lot of different, arrests, and that's neither good nor bad, depending on how you look at it, but we came up across a lot of different situations without this the same type of benefits that law enforcement shares or has. We basically had to handle our situations alone and without, very, very little um, help, so to speak. So, and that's fun because a lot of us had a similar type of energy. We were out there to help and to serve. And we put ourselves willingly in a position sometimes where, uh, we weren't the 12 donut eating friggin', security officers or whatever it may be, or law enforcement officers that you see often touted and, as far as, you know, that typical thought that pops up when you think of law enforcement or what have you. We were go-getters, and we were up at all hours of the night, and we were doing, what we thought was the right thing because of, again, the mindset that we have. And because of that, I believe this is why I pick up on this type of energy. I'm here to sound the alarm. I'm here to bring awareness, things that you may not be aware of that are happening around you or perhaps happening outside of your energetic, interpretation, or perhaps without your being aware of it. So I know that's not popular, and I can see that with the number of likes that I get and the people that actually watch it daily. And I wish it were different, but it is what it is. And I'm not here just to get likes. I'm not here to be liked myself personally. I mean, we all want that, but it's not entirely important for me. I'm fine by myself. I am. And I just want to make sure that I share with you as much as I possibly can the information that I have and perhaps the reasons behind some of it. Now, I can't say 100% candidly why it is the way that it is, why certain people get nothing but, positive, touchy-feely, energies all the time, and others, they seem to be the bearer of or the messenger of bad news, or the one that's always saying, watch out, this is coming, or watch out, this person means you harm, or whatever. We need both, obviously, but unfortunately that's who I am, I guess. So it's becoming clearer and clearer as every week goes by, and I get this type of energy. Now, tomorrow's energy, or I should say Monday's energy, is again JERA, even though that's the overall energy of the week. In the upright, JERA from Monday is in the reverse. Now, again, as I stated, all these runes are in reverse throughout the entire week. And JERA in the reverse talks about, something that cannot be rushed. We talk about seasons and cycles in the upright and rewards and manifestation of the fruits of your labor and things like that. It's quite the opposite when it's in the reverse. So, setbacks and major changes, even repetition, going around in circles, if you will, not being able to move forward, bad timing, again, poverty, conflict. So this is the energy that perhaps some people within the collective are also going to experience. Just because we're collective doesn't mean we're immune to bad or things that we would consider to be less than positive, I should say. We all have hurdles, and these hurdles help us to grow. But since the whole week is basically very low vibrational energy indeed, I know that I'm speaking mostly to those in our life who are, intentionally in a lower state of vibration. So, and you need to be aware of that for your own reasons, and it'll be different for each of us. So that's tomorrow's energy. Now, Tuesday's energy is Aiwas. And Aiwas also ordinarily a very good rune is in the reverse in this case. So for Tuesday, it talks about, again, stagnation, inactivity, and tension. It talks about a state of confusion, disruption. It talks about weakness and a sense of dissatisfaction. Not very positive, I fear. And of course, in the holiday season, unfortunately, and I hate to again bring nothing but negativity up, but traditionally, in terms of rates of suicide and things like that, this time of the year seems to be, one of the higher, particular percentage-wise, rates of given suicide and so on. Because people are left out, they're forgotten about. People feel as though, what's the point? Why am I here? Nobody cares about me, kind of a thing. And sometimes it gets to the point of wanting to take their own life. Um, I don't know what to say of that, other than please don't reconsider. You still have a gift. Every single person here does. It's just a matter of finding out what that is and sharing with the collective. Once you've done that, you are now entering in a level of authenticity in which your life will change and things will get better. Until you discover that for yourself, and often we can go an entire lifetime and never get to the point of understanding that one simple truth. I'm sharing this with you because from my own life experiences and everything, I'm 65 years old. And I've gone through an awful lot in that 65 years. I've learned an awful lot. I spend every waking moment trying to better myself or learn, whatever the case may be. So intellectually, physically, physiologically, psychologically, spiritually, I'm always trying to learn. And I've always been a teacher everywhere I went, and I believe it's because of that mindset that, I'm here now. I'm here to help, to give you my years of experience and understanding as I see it now, which does evolve and changes. But I hope to be able to be a blessing, to those who do indeed need, sometimes these words of encouragement or maybe another perspective on things that you might not have considered before. I've been told that I think a lot differently than a lot of other people that come in contact with me, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that we all add, to that huge melting pot of ideas in our existence, and nobody has all the answers. Nobody. So, all right. So for Wednesday's energy, we have Rado, the blessed journey, but it too, just like last week, is in the reverse. So it talks about an upset of plans and delays. It talks about, again, stagnation, traveling, or I should say unexpected travel, not the blessed type that we plan in advance and we look forward to doing. It's like being routed from our own, if you will, comfort zone for reasons that we don't appreciate. So, but it also talks about remaining and being stuck in a form of stasis or being static. Feeling a sense of injustice, irrationality, dislocation, disruption, demotion, even in our job, being in a state of delusion, and again, as I stated yesterday, possibility of death. So since we're reading primarily for the karmics out there, or those who are in lower state of vibration and understanding right now, the younger souls typically in this world that we now inhabit, they're really going through it, and some of them are not going to choose to stick around, okay? Or sometimes spirit has made that choice for them, especially if they've done especially heinous types of activities and refused to learn from the lessons that they were given to get them to rethink their path. Excuse me. All right, so that is Wednesday's energy. Now Thursday's energy is Haglas. And Haglas is one of the 9, of course, that can be, or looks exactly the same, upright or reverse, but it too is in the reverse in this case. And Haglas in the reverse talks again about disruptions and disruptive forces, forces of nature or natural disasters, catastrophes even. Again, stagnation, loss of power, talks about pain, loss, suffering. Talks about hardships, crisis, and unfortunately sickness as well. So if somebody is suffering, somebody does have a terminal illness of some type, and you need prayer or just somebody to talk to, somebody to vent on, again, I know nobody's taken that, that offer yet. I extend it to whoever may need it, okay? I'm a good listener if nothing else. Now, Friday's energy is another one of the 9 that basically looks the same either up or reversed, and it's Nalthus. The Nalthus in the reverse talks again about wrong directions, somebody who's possessive, the inappropriate constraint of someone's freedom. Perhaps they themselves have taken people and enslaved them in some fashion or another. It could be emotional, or it could literally be physically. You could have somebody stashed away in your cellar, in your basement or something of that nature, or maybe a bunch of somebodies in some other cases. But that's not going to last much longer if that's the case. So that's what it talks about. Lots of negative. So Friday with Nalthus in the reverse, not only wrong directions and constraint of freedom, but drudgery, your needs and necessities not being met, so a state of poverty, starvation even, and even emotional hunger. You're starving, not just physically, but also for maybe sympathy, empathy, maybe love, maybe just knowledge and wisdom in your situation that you've created for yourself. And you have to accept that first and foremost. You're where you are because of the things that you've done. If we're talking about the karmics. Now, that's not to say every bad thing or everything we take as being negative or bad in our lives is because of something that we did or did not do. A lot of times it is a method of propelling us in a direction, again, for our own sake, for learning something, a lesson to be learned, or to get us out of our comfort zones if we refuse to do it on our own. There's a lot of ways of looking at this thing we call life, and the energies that propel us as well. Now, finally, the energy we have for Saturday is Degas. Now, Degas, again, is one of the 9. We've got most of them, in fact, in this reading, which is looks exactly the same, upright or reversed. This, too, is in the reverse. Now, Degas in the reverse talks about radical changes, attitudes, talks about endings again and limits, coming full circle in something or going in circles, blindness, and hopelessness. No matter how bad things seem, and I've had many situations in my life where I thought it could never get any worse. And then I get surprised with, well, yeah, I guess it can. But it will eventually always get better too. We all have, our mountains and then our valleys, that we go into. And again, that's just the cycles of life. The universe has cycles. The moon has cycles. Everything has cycles. And we all, are influenced by those cycles, whether we know it or not. And, as a perfect example, the cycles, of course, in our, solar system produce the seasons that we have. Moon cycles produce many different cycles, not only with the, the tides, the ebbs and flows of the movement of water, which, again, are emotional and spiritual plane, but also within the cycles of the female anatomy as well. It affects them and their menstrual cycle. There's a lot to be said about cycles. Okay, so again, we have highs, we have lows. Sometimes, we can be stuck in a high cycle for a long time, and we think, we're very lucky, or that individual is very lucky. Other times, some people are stuck in that same regard, but in the negative aspect, where they're in a low for quite a while. People say, "Oh, they're an unlucky bastard." But maybe they are the ones that have the bigger lessons to learn, or maybe they're the ones who are going to add the most after they get out of that lesson to the collective. So, again, we've all heard perhaps that God only gives you what you're capable of handling and no more. Some of us are able to handle an awful lot, apparently. So, with that being said, I wish the energy was more positive, but again, the collectives, they need some answers too. I should say the karmics in the world of the collective, they need answers too. You need to know what's going on with them, which will help hopefully give you a little bit more empathy. And they need to have answers since they've chosen to look, in all the wrong places for the answers, to do the things that they were doing. And now they're basically paying the recompense for their sins, so to speak. And again, I'm not judging, not at all. We've all been there, we all make mistakes, and once you realize that we're here to learn, as well as teach others, to help them through this evolutionary thing, that's what we're here to do. If we help one another, and lift each other up, once somebody learns something, it becomes a collective knowing. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to add to one another. And by doing so, we raise the entire vibration of humanity as a whole. But there's always going to be those who resist, those who are more inclined to be very materialistic, and that's all they care about. What benefits them right here, right now, at the benefit, or I should say, at the expense of everything and everybody else. The world and all its many other inhabitants. They're just there as resources for those people. And it's sad. It's really sad when you think about it. They just have no clue. And, it affects all of us as well. So the more of us that become enlightened and help one another to become enlightened, the better off this world will be. And the more enlightened as a whole, as a species, we become. Okay. Now, with that being said, again, I pray that this week, is a blessing for each and every one of you, including those who are falling under the category of being karmic, okay, based on your own actions and thoughts. You can change that anytime, but you have to want to. Nobody can make you do it. All right. Well, with that being said, I pray that all of you are victorious in your journey, and someday we will all meet, hopefully, in Valhalla for that one final great battle. Take care. Bye.